not gonna lie, when I first started reading this book in the very beginning, like chapter 1, I thought that Sam was gonna be dead. Like the way that it started out. Is this a dream? What is happening right now? Like, I am like tense reading this. Hold on, let me get myself together. Ew, is this coconut? Oh no, they put coconut in it? Oh, why'd they do that? There's some potential, like, I don't want to say the words. Hello and welcome back, or welcome to my channel. If you are new, I'm starting yet another vlog. I'm reading these two books in particular because I've heard these books compared to each other, so I kind of want to see for myself if that is in fact accurate, because there are plenty of times when people will compare books to other books and it's like you read them and you're like, this book is nothing like this. I don't know where this person got this idea from. So I want to find out for myself. So I'm going to be reading Every Summer After by Carly Fortune and 11 Other Words by Christina Lauren, and I'm going to see if these two books are in fact similar to each other. I'm going to be starting with Every Summer After. That is going to be the first book that I'm going to be reading for this vlog, and I have no idea what either of these books are about, honestly. So yeah, I'm gonna be sprinting, gonna be starting this book, and we'll see how far I get during these sprints, and I will obviously update you guys once I've gotten a little further into the book. So let's get started. So, first update. I think this is the first update. I think we were actually on Leandra's channel. I said during that sprint that like I just wanted to know what the thing was as to why they're not friends anymore, and I said that I feel like maybe she had sex with his dad. That is not what happened. I'm pretty confident that's not what happened, because I have since learned that his father is dead. So that would be pretty wild if that were to happen. And that's not a spoiler, unless his father's actually not dead. He's gonna come back from the dead, but assuming that that doesn't happen, it's not a spoiler. So I was thinking that she was like gonna sleep with his dad or something, like something that's just so unforgivable that you can never come back from. But since that's not the case, I'm thinking that maybe she might have slept with his brother or something. I wanted it to be something good. Like, give me a good reason as to why you guys were like attached at the hip but then suddenly stopped speaking for the last 12 years. Like, I need to know what's going on. Young Sam, I should say, reminds me so much of Jude from The Fosters. If you ever watch The Fosters, Sam just gives me Jude vibes. I really do like Sam. I think Percy, like, she's fine, she's okay, there's nothing spectacular about her, but Sam really is like the star of the show here. But yeah, that's the update. Nothing much else to say about the book thus far. I will check back in with you guys once I get a little further into it, I guess. How I managed to end up wearing two yellow t-shirts in the same vlog back to back like this, I have no idea. But that aside, I am now 170 pages in. I just finished chapter 11, and if you've read this book, then you know what I just finished reading. And I have to say that I was not a fan of the sexy time scene. I think my biggest issue with it isn't even like, oh, it was a poorly written, you know, spicy scene. It's just like the timing of it I didn't like. I don't like the fact that he's like grieving right now, and like that's what they decided to do. Like, I would have loved for their, you know, experience to have been at a time where they're not both going through like really hard stuff, really heavy stuff. I feel like their relationship like deserved better than that. I also feel like they're steadily dropping hints that something's going to go down between Percy and Sam's brother Charlie. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if that's like a huge misdirect or something, but they are definitely dropping hints along the way that like it's gonna go in that direction. Sam still remains the champion of the story. The scene where you meet his girlfriend, hilarious. Like, literally Percy's entire reaction, hilarious, and also kind of relatable. And I'm on sprints with Kelsey, and Kelsey said that there's apparently something else that's gonna happen later on in the story that like we don't know about. So I'm interested to see what is gonna happen. I have at least like 30-40% left. But yeah, that's the update for now, and I will check back in with you guys once I have a little bit more. When he said the reason as to why they're not together, I was like very confused. I was like, that's it? I mean, not that that's not a thing, but like, I don't know, it just seemed like they were making a really big deal out of something that I feel like they could have gotten over. But I'm thinking that there's probably more to it that he doesn't know. He is thinking one thing and he doesn't know that there's like more to the story. I didn't realize that he didn't know this yet. I thought that he knew and that was the reason why they weren't together. And I'm nervous that if she tells him the full story, especially now, that could ruin their friendship all over again. Is this a dream? What is happening right now? Like, I am like tense reading this. Hold on, let me get myself together. Because I'm having a time understanding what the heck is going on. I stand corrected. And I'm not even gonna say what about. But there is something that I predicted at some point along the way in this video, and I was wrong. And honestly, I'm glad I'm wrong, because if I had been right, I probably would not like this book. It would not have been worth it to get to the end if I was right. So I'm glad that I'm wrong. So I am back with the final update for Every Summer After, because I did finish this book. My thoughts are that it was good, it was fine. I thought the ending was like cute, you know, it was sweet. It was pretty much what I expected. I did like the way they handled it. Sam is a champion. Sam is really the true hero of this story. Like, this story, even though technically I guess Persephone is like the main character, like Sam really is like the standout character here. The spotlight's really on him. He really saved the show. This book was fine. It was good, not great. It was fine. Like, it was enjoyable, but it wasn't anything where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite book. This book was amazing. Like, it was good. You know, if you want something to read, if you want a nice like summertime vibes, you know, this is a great book for that. But the whole point of this video is to compare this to Love in Other Words, and I just feel like if this really is as similar to Love in Other Words as people keep making it out to be, then that's concerning, because this book wasn't all that. I would probably give this book, I feel like 4 stars is me being generous. If I'm being like real nitpicky, it's probably more like a 3.75. Like, I don't feel like it quite hits the same way that my other 4-star books hit. But like I said, it was fine. It was good. It's not bad. It just wasn't like a knock out of the park the way that people describe, well, not describe this book, but the way they describe Love in Other Words. And like I said, people keep saying that this book is just like Love in Other Words. So if this is not a knockout, how is that going to be a knockout? For now, I am going to hopefully enjoy this thing that I have never had before. It's some kind of dragon fruit something something. I don't know. And I'm going to start on the audiobook for Love in Other Words. You, of course, can't see this, but yeah, I'm going to start on the audiobook for this. I will check in with you guys once I've gotten a little further into Love in Other Words. I haven't even started it yet, so once I get a little further into it, maybe like 25% or something like that, I will check in with you guys. So Love in Other Words, this is funny. Every Summer After wasn't, I mean, it wasn't not funny, but it wasn't like, mostly it wasn't funny. This, I'm actually laughing much more.
But that'd be a good comparison. Okay, well, this was funny.
Yeah. So I know that I said that I just started reading this today, but I am already like 43% into the audiobook. I'm on page 183 already, and I just started this morning. I have been sucked into this book. I was not expecting that. I even said earlier, I'm like, I don't see what all the hype is going to be about, because if this is anything like Every Summer After, like, it was just okay. Not gonna lie, I'm starting to see the appeal of this book. I get it. I will say, however, I do still like Sam in Every Summer After more than I like Elliot in Love in Other Words. And here's why. Elliot, to me, especially like when you first meet him, there's something about him that is like too like intense. Like, he's kind of scary. Like, he's a little scary. He's a little bit frightening, a little bit intimidating. He's not like the nice, you know, shy, I don't know, there's something about Sam that's just so lovable. This Elliot guy, watch out for him. Like, he's scary. Keep your eye on him. Every Summer After had its moments, but it wasn't like consistently funny. It just would have like random moments where it was funny, and like you wouldn't be expecting it because the majority of the book isn't funny. So when funny things would happen, it would like really catch you off guard. But this book right here, this book, I have laughed so many times already. I have gotten to the point, I think I was at 33%, and that was the moment when I decided that I was going to try to keep track of, and by keep track of I mean tabbing, all of the moments in this book that I think are funny. I do see the similarities between the two, but I also see some things that are like different about the two, and different in a way that I understand why people like this book more. So yeah, I'm gonna read a little bit more of this. We'll see how far I can get by the time the day is over. Maybe I'll check in with you guys at like the 75% mark or something like that. Or if something like really major happens between now and 75%, then I'll check in with you then. Okay? Okay. So I told you guys that I would check in with you once I got around 75%. I think I'm a little bit past that. I'm probably closer to like 80% I'm on chapter. Well, this book doesn't even freaking have chapters, so I don't know what chapter I'm on. That's one thing that's really annoying about this book. This book doesn't have chapters. It's just then, now, then, now, then, now. So you like manually have to count like which then or which now you're on. I'll show you. So for the audiobook, for example, you just have a bunch of then and nows and like timestamps, but it doesn't give you chapters. So you don't, when you try to match up like where you are in the audiobook to where you are in the regular book, it's very difficult to do that because this doesn't have page numbers and this doesn't have timestamps. So it's like difficult like to figure out like where you are in the book. So that has been kind of frustrating. Getting ready to go into whatever chapter starts on page 333. This book is significantly funnier, and I definitely have a better appreciation for dragons after reading this book. With that being said, I have an hour and 38 minutes left of the audio, and in page count, like I said, I'm on page 333 out of 403. So I have about, what is the math on that? Like 70-ish pages left of this book until I'm finished. So this is how much I have left. So I am going to attempt to read this on camera because I was told, you know, allegedly this book is going to make me cry and it's sad at the end. So we'll see. And if it is sad or if it is emotional or something, I would like to attempt to capture that on camera. I don't know if my battery is going to last long enough for me to do that, but I'm going to try. So here we go. Wow. Did not see that coming. Give me a second, I need to process. Before I get into my final thoughts on this book and the comparison, I do want to say, because I forgot to say this earlier, on page 221 and 222, assuming that you have this copy, page 221 and 222, I feel personally attacked by Sabrina. That whole conversation, I feel like she was talking to me directly. I felt like she read me for filth, and I don't appreciate it. I just want to put that out there. One of the things that I did not like about the ending of this book, I feel like the ending wrapped up too quickly. I feel like the thing as to why, the real reason why they haven't spoken in over a decade, just seems like it would take time. And in this book, they were like moved in together, like living together 10 days later. And I'm like, whoa, wait. She just unloaded all this on you and y'all are now living together. And maybe it wasn't literally 10 days, but like it felt like 10, like literally the next day they were already like cuddling and being like, yeah, we're gonna be together. And I'm like, were you not there last night when she told you all the stuff, the things that happened? I don't think I realized what I was signing up for when I decided to read this book. Especially, I'm glad that I read them in the order that I read them in. I think that my experience would not have been as good if I had read them the other way around. So in terms of comparing the two, so some of the things that are the same for these books, it's the fact that it's childhood friends to lovers. That's definitely, obviously, you know, the number one thing that these two books have in common. Also, this idea of like the girl has a cabin or a cottage or a summer home or whatever you want, vacation home, a lake house, whatever, that she visits every so often, whether it's on the weekends or for holidays or over the summer or whatever. And that's where she meets this boy that becomes her best friend, you know, childhood best friend to lover. Like, they both have that in common. The love of reading in both of these books, the whole idea that the female protagonist in the story has a secret that she wants to get off her chest but doesn't necessarily know how to go about it without it ruining their, you know, rekindling of their relationship. The concepts for these books are the same, but in terms of the execution, very, very different. They do both deal with like death of a parent or death of multiple parents, so that is something to keep in mind. That could potentially be a trigger for some people, so I'm just throwing that out there. Some of the ways that they're different, the thing that brings these two people back together is very different. The reason why they haven't spoken in so long is also very, very, very different. I feel like the reason why they haven't spoken in Every Summer After is something where it's like, she's kind of trash, she's kind of grimy for that, but also like maybe we can move past this. But in Love in Other Words, it was like, I feel like I just watched an episode of Euphoria. Like, oh my gosh. I will say, this may be an unpopular opinion, but I don't care. You're entitled to your opinion, and this one is mine. Sam is better than Elliot on all accounts. I'm not a fan of Elliot. I think that he's scary. I think that he's intense. For Every Summer After, I did really appreciate that the like steamier, spicy scenes, if you want to call it that take place in the then timeline, so when they're, you know, teenagers, I appreciated that those were all pretty much like fade to black. I can't say that that was quite the case in Love in Other Words. I would say the diversity was very weak in both of these books. Now, in terms of which book I thought was better, I think it's probably pretty obvious at this point which book I think is better. I have to say that Love in Other Words actually is better. Like, I get it. The people that say this is better, now that I've read both books, I completely understand. Before, it didn't make sense to me because I'm like, if these books are so similar, how can you necessarily say that one is better than the other, or what makes one better than the other? But I totally get it now. Every Summer After is a great like summer childhood friends to lovers book that's a little more lighthearted than this book. Like, this book definitely gets into some deeper, slightly darker situations. Just wow for this book. That's literally the only words that I have for this book, is like wow. I'm not gonna say wow in a sense where like it's a 5-star read for me, but it's definitely up there. It's easily 4 stars. It wasn't like the best book that I've ever read, but it definitely was significantly better than I was expecting it to be. But I think that Love in Other Words is better written. I think the characters are more interesting. I think the story is more interesting. It's deeper, you know, there's just a lot more to it. I think that Every Summer After was very low stakes, very lighthearted, which if you read the book, you probably are like, it was not low stakes. Like, did you see what she did? But compared to this book, it was low stakes. The internet is correct. Love in Other Words is better. But yeah, and that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far into the video, let me know down below what other books you think I should do this with. I'm thinking about making this a series on my channel. And what books would you recommend me reading and comparing? As always, my socials and links will be down below in the description. Be sure to like this video, let the algorithm know that you enjoyed it, subscribe if you are not already subscribed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.